Good morning, it's Lisa here. I got up at 7, did my thing in the morning, went back to bed because I was just exhausted. And now it's like 10:30, but we are making some country biscuits and gravy. So I hope my kids like it. They never had it before, but I've had it before. And my dad was amazing at making it, and it was just so delicious. I want to do it for my kids. And yes, when I first had it, I lived in northern Alberta, Canada, but we are here in Ontario, and this is what I got so far for my dough. And I'll show you my the recipe that I'm following, which is kind of odd because I've never seen mayonnaise put into biscuits before. But in our dough, we have 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 full cup of homogenized milk, 1/3 of a cup of mayonnaise. You can choose whichever one you really want. I use Hellmann's because I like Hellmann's. And then 3/4 cup of grated cheese. And the best flour to use. Oh yeah, not sponsored, but I mean, would be awesome. And for coffee, I'm having my medium roast, Folgers, and my Cinnabon creamer from Delight, which I hope Delight can start making the bigger versions of these because they're so good. And I'm a Cinnabon girl, so. Okay, so we have our flour. We used half a cup. I have a teaspoon of Imperial already in the frying pan on medium heat, ready to go for our beef pork breakfast sausages, which we'll be taking out of the casing. And I know that Imperial is not good for you because of the vegetable oil, and you know, I know sunflower oil is like extremely bad for you and your heart. But this one says that it is 70% soy and or canola oil and 22% vegetable oil. Now, I don't usually use Imperial. I was raised on Imperial. But when I usually mainly do use butter, it's usually, I can't believe it's butter or it's not butter. And you can get the olive oil or avocado oil butters, which are 100% better for you and your heart. So I would recommend getting those if you can find them. Okay, we're gonna go. Dankeschön. I'm just gonna scoop what's in the bowl that didn't come out. Okay. Always rinse your bowl so that, you know, it's easier to clean. Always wash your hands because you're dealing with food, right? And it's hands-on. So we're gonna sprinkle just a little bit of flour on top. Not a whole lot. Now that our butter is melted, we're going to turn it down to really low. So we don't burn our butter. Okay, just give it a nice pat. Just a nice little massage. I love cooking and baking. My dad used to cook and bake. My dad taught my mom. and she's still working on it. Sorry, Mom, don't mean to throw you under the bus, but it is what it is, darling. I like to see, it feels so soft, my dough. I love it. That's what I like. I like a nice soft dough so that it's easier to work with. It's easier to comply with when you're working with flour and massaging it. Like, I thought that the mayonnaise was like just so weird because I've never, don't come at me for this because this is apparently a recipe from the South, and it's, my kids are fighting over the remote. They're like, hey, Angel's trying to change the channel on the TV because she loves this Aussie show called Steve and Maggie. And by the way, Miss Rachel, I've noticed a lot of satanic things being played out in the world, and Miss Rachel is not a good show to watch for kids. Personally, that's my opinion. Steve and Maggie is just an amazing show. My kids love it. And you don't want to roll your dough too thin, so please make sure it's nice and thick. But yeah, Steve and Maggie, a great freaking show for kids, and I love it. And I mean, I love watching that show. And I'm one of those parents that get annoyed really easy with certain kids shows because, like I said, you don't think it's made for kids, you know? All right, there's one. There's three. And don't worry, I have a pan lined with parchment paper, and we will be putting some oil down on it. And the oil is to help our biscuits rise a little nicer, according to this recipe that I got. And I tried to figure out what kind of recipe my dad used, but sometimes you just can't find the same recipe, and that's okay. So I think it's pretty awesome to try a new recipe, especially when you have kids, so please do so. Alright, now let's put them on the pan. Alright, so with the mushrooms, I know it's not like orthodox to really add mushrooms to a country breakfast, but I mean, add what you want to the biscuits and gravy. Traditionally, there's no mushrooms. So I hope this is okay. I'm gonna let them, because they're still like, there's still some pink. I think you guys can see it. Yeah, there's still some pink ones. So get them all fried up before we do our gravy. Alright. And over here I put Just a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon of butter. You can actually use olive oil, which I recommend. And we're gonna make some eggs to go along with our country gravy and our biscuits, which our biscuits are doing lovely. All right, I got my eggs all ready to go. These guys are now ready. I already took like half the grease out. I can't believe like the beef and pork sausages were that greasy, but I took half of the grease out. You want a little bit there, right? And just put some homogenized milk in there. Homogenized with the whole milk. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna hit it with just a little bit of whipping cream because half and half wasn't available for me, which is fine. All right, and now we're gonna get our roux started. All right, I would skim the grease out a little bit, like, you know, which I did. So add some sugar. Okay, so I added some salt, some pepper, as you see. Now I'm going in with my roasted garlic and red pepper. Go to how much your heart desires, really. Yeah. I would recommend, personally, about a teaspoon and a half of Clubhouse. All right, I just took these out of the oven, and now we have 2 more that are in the oven. I'll show you. Coming along beautifully, yes, yes. I even flipped my eggs. See? 2. Okay, now that it's going great, we're gonna pour just a little bit of roux at a time. Mix, 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 mix. So you don't want that to settle. You want to get it well incorporated. My eggs are done, so those get turned right off. A little bit more roux. Okay, see you when it's done. Awesome. See how thick it got? So my roux was 3 teaspoons of flour, and just add a little bit of water and constantly whisk until you get a nice consistency. See, told you, my kids are obsessed with Steve and Maggie. They love Maggie. All right, let's put this on our biscuits because it's done. All right, see, and there's the recipe. It's even got cranberry orange butter, but I don't have orange or cranberries at the moment. So this is the recipe that I used. All right, so I put 2 biscuits on my husband's plate and then 2 eggs. It's not really what I wanted, how I wanted my eggs, but that's okay. We're gonna scoop up, and my kids are already dished up, but my stepson doesn't know that. But I'll show you guys. All right, all done. See, I told you my kids were all fed. Way before I dished up my husband. Hi, husband. You like it, Angel May? You're silly.
I like that. Only that.
That's sausage. That's beef and pork sausage.
I know pork sausage.
Yeah, you gotta eat the biscuits too. Did you eat your mushrooms?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Do you like it?
Uh-huh.
Angel, do you like it? You're being silly. All right, got my coffee. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna try some biscuit. Now, I'm not really good at making biscuits because it seems like every time I make biscuits, I'm overworking my dough. But to be honest with you, it looked like it needed more flour anyway, so maybe I'm not doing something right. But that was the recipe, and this is how my biscuits always turn out. So some biscuit and gravy. Look how thin, see? It's fluffy and it's cooked all the way through, but it's like, it doesn't rise. And that's what I'm kind of like. But let's try it.
I like it.
I like it too.
No.
But Mommy's biscuits need to rise more. So I think, personally, this is a good recipe. See what I mean? Like, it rises just a little bit, but not enough. I think it's good, but definitely, I think I'm just overworking my dough. But really good. Got my egg. I wanted it to run, but I also had to attend to my kids, so there's that. All up, the biscuits, because I think I overworked it, I'm gonna de-point it a little bit, so out of 5, I probably give it a 2. But the sausage gravy with the mushrooms, I could have added onion in there and it would have been even better. I give it straight 5 out of 5. My egg got a little bit overcooked from where I wanted it to where it is. So I'd give that a 2. All out, my breakfast is a 4 out of 5. My coffee, however, 10 out of 10. Because I made it.